We just exceeded expectations. And so I think that's kind of where that pridefulness comes from, and everyone just continuing to show up and love each other and fight for each other and fight for the people that couldn't be out there. So yeah, I think proud is like the biggest sentiment following the season.
This offseason's very uncertain for the entire league in general, but you're a free agent for the first time. Have you thought about what free agency might look like for you?
Why would someone as loyal and driven as Lexie Hull end up leaving the court in tears? And why are so many whispers dragging Stephanie White, a coach from a totally different team, into this mess? The truth behind this stunning fallout isn't some petty rivalry. It's a brutal glimpse into the cold, calculated new face of the WNBA. This is a tale of shattered dreams, ruthless choices, and the glossy darkness behind success that everyone pretends not to see. The news hit like a thunderclap just before the season kicked off. Lexie Hull, a former first-round pick celebrated for her relentless grind, was suddenly cut from the Indiana Fever. Fans were stunned, trying to figure out how someone who gave everything to her team got dumped without warning. This wasn't your average roster shuffle. It felt deeply personal. And the eerie silence from the front office only fueled the mystery, making everyone wonder what kind of drama was brewing behind closed doors. Social media erupted in chaos. Fans who had watched Hull grow and grind couldn't believe it. She wasn't just another player. She embodied the Fever's soul. Her dedication was unmatched, her drive unquestionable. And yet, in one brutal moment, it was all ripped away. The timing made it sting even more. Training camp had just wrapped up. Players were finally finding their rhythm, and Hull had given every ounce of energy to prove she belonged. Then came the call that changed everything. Right before opening day, her dream was gone. Teammates were blindsided, some even heartbroken. To them, Hull wasn't just a player. She was a friend, a mentor, the emotional anchor of the locker room. Her exit didn't just leave a roster spot, it left a hole in the team's heart, one that no quick signing could ever fill. Several players jumped on social media, dropping cryptic side-eye posts that clearly hinted at the decision. But no one dared call out the front office by name. The message was clear: speak too loud, and you might be next. To really grasp what happened to Lexie Hull, you've got to understand the chaos called the Indiana Fever. This wasn't a team bathing in glory. Far from it. For years, the Fever have been stuck in a revolving door of coaches, constant rebuilds, and a fan base exhausted by disappointment. Once upon a time, they were proud champs. The 2012 WNBA title still their one shiny memory. But those days now feel like a dusty photo in the attic. Lately, the Fever have been the league's punchline, glued to the bottom of the standings year after year. Attendance dropped, coverage dried up, and relevance vanished. The franchise was starving for attention, desperate for any spark to wake up the echoes. Player development? A joke at best. Promising young stars came in bright and fizzled out fast. Some whispered it was bad coaching. Others blamed clueless front office decisions. Rumors spread of dysfunction, poor communication, power struggles, and a toxic culture that crushed potential before it bloomed. That's the storm Lexie Hull walked into on draft night. Every rookie carried impossible weight, expected to save a sinking ship with nothing but hope. But everything changed the moment the Fever won the draft lottery. Enter Caitlin Clark, the phenom who turned women's basketball into a global spectacle. She didn't just bring talent. She brought cameras, sponsors, and pressure so intense it could melt steel. Overnight, Indiana wasn't just another struggling franchise. They were the center of the basketball universe. They were suddenly the epicenter of the basketball world. Caitlin Clark wasn't just another draft pick. She was a full-blown cultural phenomenon born out of her electrifying run at the University of Iowa. She didn't just attract basketball fans, she expanded the audience. Millions tuned in, shattering viewership records and even rivaling men's games in ratings. Her style was pure theater. Logo range threes, no-look dimes, and swagger so sharp it split opinions. Love her or hate her, everyone was watching. So when she declared for the WNBA draft, it didn't feel like a draft. It felt like a national holiday. Analysts lost their minds debating where she'd land, what she'd change, and how fast she'd flip an entire franchise's fate. When the Indiana Fever snagged the #1 pick, it wasn't just luck, it was salvation. After years of mediocrity, Clark was their golden ticket, their miracle reset button. But miracles come with pressure. Every roster spot suddenly turned into a battlefield. With the whole basketball world laser-focused on Indiana, the front office went cold and calculated, determined to build a championship machine around their shiny new superstar. Loyalty? Out the window. Sentiment? Too expensive. If you couldn't fit with Clark's orbit, you were gone. The Fever started dealing, trading, and reshaping overnight, snagging veterans, reworking lineups, and treating every evaluation like a survival test. Players once considered untouchable were now one bad practice away from the chopping block. The entire equation had shifted, and it was all because Caitlin Clark had rewritten the rules. It was no longer about loyalty or who had earned their stripes. It was about who could help Caitlin Clark win now. The Fever abandoned their developmental mindset for a win-at-all-costs urgency, and Lexie Hull, despite her relentless grind, got caught in the fallout. To understand why players like Hull vanish overnight, you have to grasp the economic squeeze of the WNBA. Unlike the NBA's billion-dollar ecosystem, the Women's League runs on razor-thin margins. Teams have just 12 roster spots, tiny salary caps, and almost no room for long-term projects. Every player must contribute immediately. Sentiment doesn't survive the spreadsheet. That reality breeds fear. One off night, one injury, one bad decision from the front office, and your career can end in a phone call. Even first-round picks like Hull live without safety nets. Promises don't protect contracts. Production does. Financial strain amplifies every move. Most WNBA franchises still operate at a loss, leaning on their NBA counterparts for survival. So every decision doubles as a business calculation. Do you sell tickets, attract sponsors, and boost engagement? If not, your value plummets. Caitlin Clark changed that formula completely. She was the ticket, the brand, the media storm. But with her arrival came impossible pressure. The Fever had to win, and win fast. There was no time for patience, no margin for loyalty. And in that ruthless pursuit, Lexie Hull became collateral damage. Her story captures the dark truth behind the WNBA's new era. A league torn between dreams and dollars, passion and profit. A world where success comes at a cost no one dares to discuss. How could a player who bled for the team be tossed? Aside like last season's highlight reel? This wasn't some harmless roster shuffle. It felt personal. And the eerie silence from the front office only made things worse, fueling whispers about what was happening behind closed doors. The internet erupted. Fans who had watched Lexie Hull grind for years couldn't believe it. She wasn't some bench filler. She was the Indiana Fever's heartbeat. Her work ethic was the stuff of legend, her dedication undeniable. And yet, in one ruthless moment, it was all gone. The timing, brutal. Training camp had just wrapped. Players had fought tooth and nail for spots, built chemistry, and sweated through every drill. Hull had done everything right, believing she'd secured her place. Then came the call, the one that shattered it all. Teammates were blindsided. Many called her a mentor, a leader, even family. Her absence wasn't just about points and stats. It ripped a hole in the team's soul. Soon after, cryptic tweets started popping up from fellow players. No one dared to call out management directly, but the fear was obvious. Everyone knew. One wrong move, and they could be next. To understand